it's Abby. Welcome back to another Mother Mindset video. So excited you're here. Today we are talking about balancing hormones naturally. And so before we get into the video, just want to make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this video with a sister who might need it. I'm going to give you some tips on how to balance your hormones naturally. Some of you might be a little upset about these tips because it's going to require a little bit of work, okay? But if you struggle with irregular cycles, if you struggle with hormone balance after birth control, that was me. If you struggle with short luteal phases, miscarriages, PCOS, endometriosis, here's some tips that you can use to balance your hormones naturally. I personally have dealt with balancing my hormones after birth control, after multiple miscarriages, as well as in a short luteal phase. I have never been diagnosed with PCOS, but I do have some symptoms of PCOS, but I'm not declaring that over my life, okay? I don't have like the clear diagnosis of like really long cycles, but I do sometimes have to pluck a few, if you know what I mean. I just want to come to you with my experience, what I have tried and what has worked for me, so stay tuned. All right, the first tip is nutrition. What you put into your body, what you feed your body, directly correlates how your hormones are going to react to those things that you're putting in your body. And different nutrition, different foods will actually help and assist you in your fertility journey, in your journey to hormone balance. I find that for me, nutrition is key, like key. If I eat an ounce of dairy, I am breaking out. I see more weight gain, more bloating, and nutrition is key for me. So I know that it could be key for someone else. When I'm talking about nutrition, I'm talking about eating healthy. I'm talking about eating the foods that are right for you. So here are a few nutritional tips that I can give you as far as naturally balancing your hormones. Avoid trans fats. Avoid saturated fats. You want to avoid the fats that are just not doing you any good, okay? The fats that will attach to your body and stay there. You want to eat healthy fats such as avocados, which are great for fertility. We want to eat healthy fats such as nuts and seeds, things like that. Also, I encourage you to increase your protein veggies, increase your beans, increase your nuts and seeds, increase vegetables that have a lot of protein in them. There are a lot of vegetables out there with protein. I encourage you to do your research. Third, take a multivitamin. And if you're TTC, make sure that multivitamin has folic acid in it so that you're preparing your body to be able to care for the baby in their first developmental stages. I'll link down below the multivitamin I would suggest. It is on Amazon, and I'll link that in my Amazon storefront. This next tip is something that truly helped me in my journey to conceive, and that is intermittent fasting. I use intermittent fasting to help with my digestive system. Your digestive system directly correlates with your hormones. If you're holding on to waste, that's not good for your body, right? And so I was holding on to waste. I was bloated, I was constipated. Intermittent fasting is when you take a chunk of time where you are resting and you're not eating, then another chunk of time where you're eating. I'll give you an example. For me, I used a 14-10 schedule. So I would sleep, rest, not eat for 14 hours. For 10 hours, I would fit my food into that 10-hour window. Say I go to sleep at, or stopped eating at, say 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock to, let's see, 12 hours would be 9, another 2 would be 11. So I would not eat my first meal until around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock the next day. So 9 p.m. to 11 o'clock a.m., 12 p.m. the next day is when I would eat. So I would eat from 11 to then 9. And so I would get all of my meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks in between those 10 hours. And that is the schedule that worked for me. If you are just starting out with intermittent fasting, I would suggest that you start out with a 8 and 16 hour schedule. And so meaning you're sleeping, resting for 8 hours, and then 16 hours of intentional eating. And then from there, increase your hours that you're resting your body, resting your bowels, resting your digestive system, and increase from there as as your body will allow. I don't recommend going over the 14 hours. Like, I know some extreme like fitness people do like they do crazy stuff. They only like eat for like 4 hours out of the day and 20-hour fast. No, I'm not recommending that, but I do recommend going between the 8 and 14 to begin with, because we also want to make sure that our hormones are regulated during this time. And if you are not eating at consistent intervals, then that can also mess up your hormones. And the last thing for nutrition is the anti-inflammatory diet. The anti-inflammatory diet is just a diet where you eat less inflammatory foods, right? You're eating less things that will cause inflammation in your body, because unknowingly some of the foods that we eat really cause inflammation in our body. It can cause chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, PCOS, endometriosis. Those can be exacerbated by inflammatory foods. And so with the anti-inflammatory diet, I do have a fertility nutrition guide. If you're interested in that, I will link it in the description below. But the fertility nutrition guide goes over fertility foods, what those fertility foods do for your body, as well as a list of anti-inflammatory foods that you can eat on the diet, and some recipes, as well as a prayer. So if you're interested in having a full fertility nutrition guide, I will put that link in the description below so that you can go and download that to your phone or to your computer. Next up is exercise. Yes, I said it, sis, exercise. If you are overweight, you can cause your body to hold on to extra estrogen. That will hold on to extra estrogen. But if you are underweight, too much exercise, we don't want that. If you are underweight, then your body can sometimes not ovulate at all, right? Anovulation is when you don't ovulate at all during a cycle. Overweight and underweight, we want to be in the middle, right? We want to have that ideal body weight so that our estrogen is flowing at a good rate, okay, sis? So exercise is important. And when I say exercise, I'm talking about doing something, moving your body intentionally for 30 minutes. No, walking at work is not an exercise. I want you to move your body for at least 20 to 30 minutes per day intentionally, okay? And so for you, that might mean going and taking a walk outside for 30 minutes. This is my video. Or maybe you're a gym goer and you like going to the gym and lifting weights for 20 to 30 minutes. Maybe you like the treadmill. Your girl, I don't like the treadmill. Maybe you like to work out from home, and if you do, I have a link in the description for that. Maybe, you like to go to those classes, cycling, whatever it is, do something that you love to do. Do something that you can move your body and that you like to do. My sister-in-law, she's here watching Ava. She likes to dance, so dancing for 20 to 30 minutes. That's something you could do. Whatever it is that you enjoy doing, I encourage you to just move for 30 minutes a day, sis, okay? The next thing is reduce stress. Reduce stress and rest. So I do have a video on my channel where I discuss how to decrease stress and increase fertility. So I'll link that up above. Resting is also important when it comes to balancing your hormones. When I talked about intermittent fasting earlier, we talked about bowel rest and how your digestion needs to rest as well. in order to completely digest your food, right? Your body needs sleep, 6 to 8 hours. 7 to 8 hours of sleep, okay? And so when you are resting your body for 7 to 8 hours a night, I know, difficult, right? Because we can't turn off our minds, we can't turn off our phones, but I do have some tips, like I said, in my decreasing stress and increasing fertility video. So go check that out so that you can learn how to decrease stress in your fertility journey, as well as decrease stress just for hormone balance as well. But getting plenty of rest is important, okay? And I know you were expecting like something like really extravagant, but your overall health is just important. Nutrition, exercise, rest. Your overall health will help you in balancing your hormones, sis. If you haven't tried any of these 3 things, eating the right foods, exercising consistently, and getting enough rest, then I encourage you today to start a routine. Start a routine of those 3 things. Start with 1. Nutrition is the hardest. I recommend starting with that. Start with 1. Start with 1 thing and master that thing and move on to the next, okay, sis? If you struggle with your nutrition, I encourage you to get the fertility nutrition guide so you can get some recipes, so you can see what foods you can actually eat on the anti-inflammatory diet. If you are currently TTC, I encourage you to join our Fertile Faith TTC group. I would love to have you in there. We're going to have our next session in February. We're having sessions monthly, so I encourage you to get into that group, and I will talk to you guys in another video. Adios.